Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Virgo February 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. Well, this month we have a very interesting deck called Spolia. Now, the artist finished this off, I think it was an independent deck, some years ago and said, that's it, I'm not doing any more tarot cards, I'm going to do other things, and I'm not doing any further additions. And so it has become very limited, very sought after, and if you can happen to get hold of one, it's probably going to cost you some hundreds of dollars to get it. But fortunately, you and I are going to have a look at the images on this together now. And of course, over the course of the last month, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for people from different parts of the world over FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested in seeing what's involved in that, just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, independently of that, and of course I charge for clairvoyant readings, I have to. But independently of that, I've also done a number of healings as well. The other spiritual gift that I was given at birth was that of healing, but on the condition that I get nothing in return for it. And so healing is provided for free, without any obligation. You will not be recommended or sold or pushed into doing anything. And it is, there are no catches involved in it at all. So if you do feel that you're in need of some healing, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm sure we can find some time in our respective schedules to fit it in. The description box has the information relating to that. Now, what we have here is we're going to take 5 cards. Good to see the subscribers back again. You know, I love to see you. Truly I do. Thank you for inviting me into your home each month. I really enjoy your company. And you know that we don't have any video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and so you get to enjoy it direct, don't you? And you also know that we only need to take 5 cards, because we don't spend just 2 seconds on a card. No, they have a lot to tell us. So let's get it underway for you now, shall we? And show me the magic. This is the 8 of coins. Here is the 9 of wands. This is the 7 of coins. This is the ace of coins. Gee, a lot of material things going on in your life. And finally here, there is the 9 of cups. Well, as is our practice, I'll bring the camera around. You and I can have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while they speak to you and I'll do the reading for you. A little bit of Virgo detail and planning here, which you dig deep, overcome, watch things grow, great new start, and just abundance and love here for you. Let's deal with this issue of what might be a little bit of hesitancy on your behalf. And this is, I guess, telling you, don't be afraid. Now, what we have here are coins, 7 of coins in the air. But look at this. There's things growing out of them. There are things, seeds there, fruiting away. Now, why might I say that you are having a period where you might be looking at yourself and saying, listen, is this really all there is? And am I going to make it happen or not? Well, the reason why you're doing that is because astrologically this is Saturn in the 3rd decan of Taurus. Now, it's a fellow earth sign to you, but Taurus, that period there is the 11th to the 20th of May. Well, Saturn is the classical planet that's furthest away from the sun. It has a lot of good aspects to Saturn. It has a long way around. I'm not a great fan of the outer planets myself. There's a whole, I won't go into it now, but Saturn is, with its long orbit, slow-moving, and can be seen to be restricting because it's always pushing you back to what your soul path is supposed to be, your soul contract. And it can be seen as being restricting, a restricting planet. Whereas Taurus, you are the very mutable, adaptable, changeable earth sign. Taurus is the very fixed, plodding earth sign. So the combination of Saturn together with Taurus may give you a feeling of some sort of a stagnation here, you know. So you might feel that there's some restriction around you or a hesitation. You may feel there is some apparently insurmountable obstacle ahead of you. More particularly, though, I think it's about a fear of falling. It's a fear of making mistakes that touches your financial matters, your physical condition, your health, you see. And you see apparently insurmountable obstacles in front of you and believe that you may not be able to jump over these hurdles with the first try. Oh, excuse me while I just bash myself there, speaking of medical issues. Now, when that happens, I'm going to get my train of thought again. Terrible images can rise up threateningly. You can tend to draw back. You can become resigned and limit your actions to old, familiar ways of dealing with problems. I will say here, though, that the number 7, from a mystical point of view, it has an association with what I call it in language, a time of divine emanation prior to the emergence of space and time from out of the divine, which is referred to by us mystics as victory. So you will get over this and understand that I'm thinking that these fears that you have, and I see these things floating around in the air, so it's very mental. So remember that the negative expectations that you have really, maybe even a dread, belong to the mental plane, and they don't necessarily reflect physical reality. But there is a meaningful connection between the two, between the mental and the physical. Negative expectations, this can also deal with relationships because of the presence, also mystically for me, of the planet of Venus here, and Venus is in the 7 numerologically, and Venus is also the ruler of Taurus. Negative expectations are powerful thought forms which, when you water them, either consciously or unconsciously, for a long enough period of time, that can actually help create the situation you are afraid of. Now, the same, of course, applies in reverse to positive thoughts and expectations as well. Now, this energy, it seems to me, is giving you a hint which you probably need to take seriously. That is, fear, either conscious or unconscious, might be present, and now is the time to recognize, perceive, accept, and name these fears. Write them down, actually specify them and writing them out, every detail of them. That takes their power away. It's like when someone throws you a ball. You understand how to catch the ball because you know what a ball is and what to do when someone throws one to you. Now, what's going on here? We shall see what's going to assist you with this. Let's have a look. Don't feel that you have to be someone who just lives by yourself. Talk to other people about things, because what I'm getting here from this thing here is that being by yourself and cutting yourself off from communicating and letting issues be talked with other people can sometimes make you stagnant, and you get caught behind this wall that he's building here. But what's going on in here astrologically? It is the moon ruling the 2nd decan of Sagittarius. And I have, in the number 9 here, a mystical association with the moon as well. So there is a double moon influence in here. There's the moon in the numerology, and there is a moon in the astrology, the moon ruling the 2nd decan of Sagittarius, which is the 3rd to the 12th of December. Now, what we then find is that the moon is able to assist you to dig deep into yourself. You will find a power gained through unifying conscious and unconscious energies. There's a wholeness with you. In getting through these fears that you just get through, it's basically it's not a big deal, this. It's not a crisis thing, but sometimes we have doubts, don't we? Well, you're going to push through these doubts that's here. You see that because there's a determination with you here and a strength of character and, in a sense, if you want to call it, a courage under fire. Now, you have worked for what you have, and you can therefore believe in yourself, and you will have an increased self-esteem and self-confidence and a belief in yourself. Now, these latent powers, these hidden powers that are within your subconscious, I suppose, which are represented by this double moon, they are awakened and they can be applied towards a purpose. Recognizing these unused potentials sets free more energies which are experienced perhaps as new and unusual. It's a strength that grows from within you, symbolized by the moon. And the force of this newfound strength is going to banish the darkness of fear. Now, when the unconscious for you becomes visible, you can get faced with many things you've covered up in order to avoid looking at them. And this can produce fear of some sort, the fear of feeling painful wounds you've covered up and hope to forget. There may also simply be a fear of your yet unproven strength, which reaches into all areas of your life and reorganizes them. Now, this budding, growing self-realization that you have, that's not going to allow any return to the familiar situation of weakness or fear. Your inner strength will grow to meet any task that's at hand. You will experience your energy is going far beyond the boundaries that you thought existed. Now, this is a key experience for you, the beginning of a far-reaching inner and outer unfolding of your potential. So reach into yourself and discover new depths of strength and power that you never even thought that you had. Now, you may encounter obstacles, of course, everybody does, that's normal. But the point is this, is that you are going to have the strength to overcome them. Now, because this card has turned up, it is saying that you can be reassured that you have what it takes to get by. Even in times of difficulty and stress, inner strength is going to rise up and guide you to accomplish your goals. And in the process, well, you're going to learn a lot more about yourself. You're going to have a great degree of pride in yourself, I think. Maybe are you a little afraid of your own strength? I think you're in the process of discovering your real strength, Trust your inner guide. In what areas of your life does a fear of your own strength come up? I'd also recommend that you pay attention to your dreams at this time. You have a lot of endurance at the moment, and particularly the endurance to work through detail. And say this to yourself: I know more and more clearly who I am, and this recognition leads to the full development of my strength. Now, you see how we have in this card these things floating through air, but they are budding, they're kind of seeded. Let's have a look at this card here, this 8 of coins. And I think that must have something to do with it. What we have here is like it's almost like an artisan's workshop, it could be craft, or a painting. Anyway, somebody that takes some time to put together something beautiful, I think, is going on there. And this, astrologically, is the sun ruling the first decan of Virgo, 23rd of August to the 2nd of September. Well, Mercury, I have a mystical association with the number 8 and Mercury, also with decision, power, balance, and attainment. Now, Mercury rules that number 8, And as you know, Mercury is also your ruling planet, and Mercury is exalted in Virgo. So this is just so favorable for you. And here, with the Sun in Virgo, the Sun is energizing the Virgo hard work and attention to detail. So there is a strength, I think, sometimes that you might want to think about, that there could well just sometimes be a strength in doing nothing at all. Sow the seeds that we saw with this card that was here. You dig deep, you've got the strength to do it, you're pushing ahead, sow the seeds. Sit back, wait for the harvest. Now, you may be quite cautious at this time, and there's nothing wrong with this, but you will be taking calculated risks. I think also that you're going to be quite careful with money. Yeah, and be physically cautious as well, and pay attention to your health at the moment as well. You could have some attention to structure and detail as well. Structure can include not just architecture and building, but it can also include fashion, hair, makeup. It can include software. It can include the way things are presented on screen, how you act on screen. This is about not overextending yourself or underextending yourself, but really about being in the sweet spot where you can see that all the bases have been covered. I also do get the feeling of pregnancy and birth around here, you know. There really is a flowering of internal and external richness with you, and a wisdom, a development, something of a carefulness and prudence unaware. Really, the tree is unfolding its wealth of blooms. It's a time of flowering that relates to internal and external riches. On all four levels of being, long hidden abilities and possibilities are becoming available. This number 8 also stands for harmony, adjustment, and balance. And as you unfold on all the levels of being, a deep sense of psychological balance develops. And this in turn affects your dealings out there in the world. Now, particularly at times of all this flowering, extremes and excesses should be avoided. See, internal flowering is a delicate process which happens in stillness. It's a gift to be lovingly held with great care. And external flowering is, well, don't show off. You are making things happen, and people are going to recognize you, and I think you'll quite enjoy being in the limelight. So there's a need to develop something over some time. Don't rush it as it's a long-term thing, and be prepared to bide your time. But it is an encouragement here for you, this energy, to continue doing what you're doing, as it is eventually going to lead to success. Now, of course, it's going to require a lot of dedication and focus and patience, but you're built for that, aren't you? And it may not be apparent to you, but events are unfolding in the background that are going to lead you to your destination. Do you know that which is coming into flower in you is of exquisite beauty and delicacy? Provide for it the protection and nourishment it needs. You don't need to force anything. Everything unfolds for you at the proper time. Now, are you giving yourself the protection and nourishment that you need now for your development? But this is a time when you can sit back and say to yourself, I relax and trust life. Then we go to the bottom row, and this is the Ace of Discs. Well, this is again talking about this prosperity, I think. Here we have some sort of a bird, or is it a raven maybe, or an eagle, carrying this coin, the Ace of Coins. Now this is a seed as well, I think. These things are growing for you. This could be food being taken to a nestling, which is also about growth. And I see very much that Taurus, Gemini, and Aries are likely to be important to you. This is speaking to me of a time for you of, when you get through this thing here and do the necessary reaching into yourself, it's going to result in great success. The unification of your body and soul, material and spirit, heaven and earth, wholeness here. There's the beginning now, really, of something tangible. I'm getting very much the feeling of prosperity and growth, a sort of a material abundance, improving finances. There's a possibility here of a promotion or a pay rise, certainly good luck, and something valuable coming to you, something of value coming to you, which is really unexpected. And I do think that you're going to have a deep well of grounded, practical ability for at least the next 6 months. Now, these aces represent new beginnings and opportunities, and in the suit of coins here, this relates to work projects, however broadly you want to talk about that, creating new things, but also lifestyle. And as I say, I can extend it into things like relationships as well, really. It's all to do with life. You see, there are all the colours of nature in this card. It may be the beginning of a new understanding of yourself by observing nature and its seasons here. This mirrors your readiness to live a life that is inwardly and outwardly rich. All that is needed is already at hand. Give yourself up to the fullness of life and learn to use your wings. Now, what areas of your life would you like to make richer? Write it down in one sentence, then work out a step-by-step plan, specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented and time-bound to get there. And work intensively on discovering and developing your potential, your inner wealth, and remain open for every form of enrichment in your life. Say this to yourself: I am in harmony with the flow of nature, and wealth is my natural condition. It allows me to express my spirituality and creative potential in this world. And then finally we come to, let's have a look. It's fun, isn't it? Yeah. What's that picture doing? Well, this picture is really just exotic, beautiful, bountiful. Where this card is placed, and in connection to these other cards around here, the astrology associated with it is that of Jupiter ruling the second decan of Pisces. Now that's great because Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, and that second decan is the 1st to the 9th of March. So because Jupiter is ruling Pisces, that's a very strong complementary energy. And Jupiter's philosophical approach aligns really well with Pisces spirituality. Now Jupiter also brings you good luck and happiness. And Jupiter's softer concerns, such as care, compassion, and the spiritual life, well, they are expressed just perfectly through sensitive Pisces. There's an enormous capacity to love at the moment. Although, as is so often the case with this gift, this is often hard won through lots of difficult times in the past, isn't it? But I see here wishes being granted, abundance, and reward for your efforts. Certainly a very bright future here. There is bliss, an overflowing love, deep joy, and blessings. You have a fulfillment now, the goal of love. Now, all here is in harmony and balanced. The influence of Jupiter in the sign of Pisces creates more than a feeling of just mere sympathy, you know. Rather, it's a sense of great blessedness which arises from total joy, and the quality of this joy shows that it is deeply rooted. It isn't the result of some shallow pleasure. It speaks of bliss, which derives its energy from the deepest reaches of your soul, which is at peace. The moment is filled with harmony and inner joy, so open yourself totally to it and don't miss out. And where do you seek and where do you find your true happiness? Breathe and feel. Now, if you are alone, enjoy your solitude. And if you are together with others, enjoy their presence. If you have a job to do, then do it in silent devotion. This card represents for you an energy that is of fulfillment. And really, things cannot get any better than they are with this. What a wonderful spread of cards. Say this to yourself. Happiness is my natural condition. Outstanding, outstanding month for you, Virgo. Don't you deserve it? Good job, you. Well, I told you that the art on these cards was very interesting, didn't I? And very rare, it seems, today. And I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I enjoyed giving it to you, which I certainly did. It's great to see you, and thank you. Now, the only favour that I'd ask, if you have made it this far, is would you do me the favour of pressing the like button on the way out? That's good for the YouTube computer, as you would understand, and allows people to come and see these readings. Now, of course, unless I see you privately, then the next time I see you will be next month. And so remember that, until then, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.